the next step is to create the winning and losing conditions for the game using the pseudocode while the game is running. If the dog makes contact, blah, 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 blah. So how do you code this? Let's go back here, and the first thing you do is you go to the control section and you'll see something called forever. I'm just going to drag it underneath. So this allows me to repeat whatever's inside here forever, ever, ever. And the first thing I want to check is basically to see if the dog makes contact with the fire hydrant. So the way you would check that is we want to use something called if something then. So this is what we call a conditional. So it's checking something in the game. And how do we check when the dog has touched the fire hydrant? Well, what you go is something called sensing. Okay, so sensing allows you to say, is it touching something? If the dog is touching the what? The fire hydrant. So if the dog is touching the fire hydrant, and then inside here you put what you want it to do. So again, I want to say something like something like, yay, I can wee. Okay, and then we want to, if you want to refer back to the pseudocode, it says add 1 to the wee score and set position of dog to the start. Okay, so I want to set the wees to change by 1. So I actually want to change it. So going to variables. Now I don't want to set it, I want to change it, because this allows me to change it by a value that can go up and down, where setting will make it always change to that number. So I'm going to say change the wees by 1. So it's going to continually add 1 to the wees every time I touch the fire hydrant. Now once you touch the fire hydrant, you do want the dog to go back to the start, because otherwise he's going to touch it forever, and what's the point of playing the game? So the last thing to do is to set his go back to the start again, and again just drag it there and change the numbers to be the same as this. So 178 minus 197. Great. Okay, now let's set the condition for if the dog makes contact with the wall, so the losing condition, make him say ow, add 1 to the temp score, and set position of the dog to the start again. Very similar to the last bit of code. So again, I can go to control, put underneath that, make sure it's inside the forever one, not out here, it should be in there. Okay, so it's checking this thing. So if it is touching color, this is why it's important to have your walls different to anything in the game, because it's detecting if the dog is touching that particular color. So I'm going to click on this circle and I'm going to use the paint bucket, the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to click on that color. And as you can see, it says, so when I'm touching that color of the wall, it's the only color that color is only used for that walls, then I'm going to again say something. I'm going to say ow for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to change my attempts by 1, and then lastly again going to put the dog back to the starting position. And that's essentially the game. So if I was now to play this by maximizing it, press play, I need to pee. Okay, if I do that, ow, and then just back to start, you see attempts have gone up by 1, and so let's see if I can actually win the game. Nope, I suck. Let's try that again. I haven't had any interactivity with the other sprites in the game, but like you can make your own interactivity with them. Just use the same code as you do for the walls, but make him say something different. And say instead of touching color, just make him touch the sprite. And that's essentially how you make the game. So enjoy and have fun with